Good morning, dear students. Let us recap chapter 12, air and water. What we have learnt in chapter 12, the component of air. What are the components of air? Nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor and the inert gases. They are the component of air. And this air is present in atmosphere. What is atmosphere? Atmosphere is a invisible blanket of air all around the earth. So this is all about atmosphere and the components of air. Nitrogen is maximum present in abundant in atmosphere, that is 78%, oxygen 21%, carbon dioxide negligible amount of 0.2%, then water vapor and other gases are also present. And this nitrogen is very useful in a sense that with the help of this nitrogen, proteins are made in the body. So nitrogen is needed by all plants and animals, but only few plants can absorb them. Those plants are peas and gram seeds. These plants, they absorb nitrogen from the soil, and then when those plants and the grains out of them are consumed by animals, the animals get nitrogen indirectly. Nitrogen is also used for making fertilizer. It is also used to keep packaged food fresh. Then liquid nitrogen, which is very cold, is used in laboratories, blood banks and food storage units to keep the items frozen. Then oxygen. Oxygen is required by all organisms, be it plant, animals and human beings, for breathing purpose and also for burning purpose. And whatever oxygen is present that supports burning, nitrogen controls burning. So had it been there no nitrogen in the atmosphere, we would have not been able to control fire. Then carbon dioxide is another component of the air, and this is liberated into the atmosphere from our breathing process and also from burning of large amount of fossil fuels like diesel, petrol, LPG, etc. And they cause increase in the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And what is the function of this excess of carbon dioxide? What it does? It traps the sun's heat and does not allow the sun's heat to go out of the atmosphere of Earth into the space, and that can raise the temperature of the Earth. Then water vapor, the another component of air, that is also that is obtained from the evaporation of water from the water bodies like rivers, oceans, lakes, etc. And what happens? This water vapor also contributes in trapping the sun's heat into the atmosphere. Now this is an activity which shows that oxygen is needed for burning. Then we have other gases, methane, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, all these are present in the atmosphere. Importance of the atmosphere. Why this atmosphere is so important to us? For our convenience, we have divided this atmosphere into 5 layers. Troposphere, the closest one, then stratosphere, where the ozone gas is present and ozone layer is there, which protects us from ultraviolet rays, then mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. And this troposphere is having the abundant amount of oxygen close to Earth. That's why all living organisms, be it plants, animals and human beings, live in this troposphere. The second importance of troposphere is that cloud formation takes place in troposphere. Weather changes also takes place in troposphere. Then stratosphere contain ozone gas, which is acting as a shield and protects us from the harmful ultraviolet radiation of the sun, which may cause skin cancer, sunburns, irritation of eyes and etc. So we are well protected by this ozone layer of the stratosphere. Mesosphere, that is the third layer or in the middle, and that's why it is called mesosphere, and it is the coldest layer of the atmosphere. It contains a little quantity of oxygen, ozone and water vapor, and it burns and destroys the meteors that enter the atmosphere from the space before they struck the Earth's surface. Now thermosphere, as the name says, thermo, it's the hottest layer of the atmosphere, and this is space shuttles, they orbit in this thermosphere. Exosphere is the outer space which merges out with the space. Most of the satellites orbiting the Earth are located in this exosphere. You can please learn this diagrams, practice this diagram, the labeling and all. Now properties of air. Air is a matter. Why it is a matter? Because it has mass, it occupies a space and it exerts pressure. All these activities are explaining the properties of air. Then water. Water is 3/4 of earth is covered with water, and this water is in the form of water bodies like sea, ocean, river, lakes, underground water, then well water, then water in the form of snow, glaciers and all. So out of this only 1% of water is what you call drinkable or used for drinking purpose. Why? Because the other water, they are salty, and this water has a property of being colorless, odorless, tasteless. Means no color, no odor, means no smell and no taste also. So water can exist in all states of form. We know that it is a solid form is snow and ice, liquid form is water, and gaseous form is water vapor and steam. And water can dissolve many items into it. That's why it is known as universal solvent. Some items are soluble in water like salt and sugar. So those items are called, substances are called soluble substances. Some substances like mud, sand, chalk piece, seeds, they are insoluble in water, so they are called insoluble substances. Activity 4 and 5 explain soluble and insoluble substances. Then we have purification of water. Now water has to be purified before using for drinking purpose and household activities. Now there are two ways to remove the impurities from water. One is removing insoluble impurities and other is removing soluble impurities. Now for insoluble impurities to be removed, what are the methods used by us are sedimentation, decantation and filtration. What is sedimentation? Settling down of the insoluble impurities. Here you can see settling down of impurities. This is sediment and the clean water is up on the upper side. This is supernatant liquid. So this is sedimentation. Then this is decantation, means the clean water is taken out into a beaker so that the sediment remains there and clean water is separated. This is sedimentation and decantation. Then we have filtration, the process of Now let us see another method, filtration. The process of removing insoluble impurities from water with the help of filter is called filtration. You can see here the sand mixed with water is filtered with a piece of a cloth, and what happens? The clean water is collected in the beaker and the impurities, that is insoluble impurities, remains in the cloth, is filtered. So this is filtration. Now let us see the another methods of removing soluble impurities and germs. The best way of removing soluble impurities is boiling, followed by chlorination, and even iodine tablets are used for killing germs. Now boiling is the process in which water is boiled for 10 to 15 minutes and then it is filtered and used for drinking purpose. Now boiling kills the germs and water is free from all germs and soluble impurities. Chlorination is another method of removing soluble impurities and killing germs, because chlorine tablets or be it liquid kills germs. Tap water which are supplied to our homes, they are chlorinated. Iodine tablets are also available which can be added to drinking water to disinfect it and kill the germs. Now making water fit for drinking. See, any water we should not drink, otherwise we will get waterborne diseases. So drinking water should be filtered, boiled, or we can use the commercial water filters for the filtration of soluble as well as insoluble impurities of the water. Some filters, they have candle made of filter paper or ceramic material. Then what they do, they trap the impurities into the hole and then they are washed, cleaned properly, and the water collected is the pure drinking water. Then we have another type of filters which use ultraviolet rays to kill the germs. Then we have RO purifiers also. RO means reverse osmosis, and this is one of the best purifier for drinking water. Water that is supplied to our home is also taken from lakes and rivers and then it is purified in the water treatment plant by sedimentation, filtration, chlorination before sending it to our homes. Distilled water Distillation is a process through which distilled water is obtained. What is this process? The vapor of water is collected and condensed in another container to obtain distilled water, and this process is known as distillation. You can see here the diagram that impure water is taken in a flask, it is heated, the vapor is collected here and it is condensed. Condensed means it is cooled and dropwise it is collected in another beaker, and this is distilled water. There are several uses of distilled water. It is the purest form of water. It is used in science laboratories, in car batteries, in inverter batteries. It is also used in medicine to obtain the liquid of medicine for injection and other purposes. The naturally obtained distilled water are dewdrops we find on leaves of plants early in the morning. Then you can see at home also when your mama is cooking food, just ask her to remove the lid of the cooking pot. You will see water droplets there. That is also distilled water. Now, we know that 3/4 of the earth is covered with water. The same happens with our body also. Almost 3/4 part of our body, weight of our body is water. You can see here the fact find. Water comprises nearly 73% of human heart, brain, 83% of human lungs and 64% of human skin. Even bones have about 31% of water in them. So, entire body is made up of almost 70-75% of water. Now, please read the chapter thoroughly, go through the key words and in a nutshell and learn the question answers given to you. Thank you, children.